Okay guys, we're still at Midsummer Scream. It is the day we are all waiting for, the HHN panel. Murdy's gonna come out, everybody's gonna chant his name, the crowd is gonna go wild. We're gonna film the whole thing for you, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the 13 things John is about to announce. So before the HHN panel starts, John always does a signing in the morning, so it's gonna be a madhouse for everybody to try and get a ticket for that signing, because there's only 100 spots, so cross our fingers, we get a ticket.
The Mad Dash, you get the ticket for the John poster. Foolish gushers.
Chamoy gushers.
Convention, right?
There's only 100 spots, 100 posters. There's no actual line set up. So they open it and everybody just kind of like turns into this mosh pit trying to grab a ticket. I feel like John's just looking at us, smoking a cigar, saying, look at everybody freaking out over me.
Tried.
You get one?
Tried. It's crazy.
I got here at 7:30 in the morning.
You didn't get one?
No.
Oh. There's the golden ticket. Is there anything on the other side?
Nothing.
I didn't even have a chance. I was the worst. I'll enjoy it through other people.
Hey, but you got the gushers. We got Harry and Larry here. You even have a John name tag down there.
Oh, yeah.
Are you excited for the panel?
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, yeah. We're hoping that, you know, an announcement. Larry and Harry crossover. Maybe. So what do you think?
Universal Studios Hollywood, the birthplace of American horror movies. Each autumn, the park is transformed into one of the biggest Halloween events in the world, drawing fans from all corners to come face to face with their ultimate nightmares.
The box. You opened it. We came. Explorers in the further regions of experience. Demons to some, angels to others. Now you must come with us and taste our pleasures. We have such sights to show you. Shall we begin?
Midsummer Scream. Give it up for the creative director and executive producer of Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood, John Murdy.
How you doing? I don't think so. How you doing? All right. Let's get this party started. It's haunt season, yeah? All right. I'm John Murdy, creative director, executive producer of Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios Hollywood. And today, I think I teased this out on whatever Twitter is called now. What is it, X? I have 13 things to show you today. Some you will listen to, some you will look at with your eyes, but there are 13 things that we haven't shared yet. Is that okay with you guys? All right. We always have to start this the same way. How many of you guys came to Halloween Horror Nights last year, 2024? And how many of you guys have been to Horror Nights just in general over the last 21 years? Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And real quick, do we have in the house any Horror Nights team members? Stand up, all of you guys, stand up. Boys and girls, let's go. I've said this before, I've said it 1,000 times, but it's so true. It takes a village to create this event, right? It's the hard work, it's the passion, it's the dedication of everybody who works on Halloween in here tonight that brings this event to life for you. Okay? All right. Why don't we start this way? By the pricking of my thumb, something wicked this way comes. Are you guys ready for an announcement? Yeah? Let's hear ya. Are you ready for Halloween Horror Nights announcement? You cheered about Anaheim. I want you to cheer louder about this announcement than you did about Anaheim. All right, hands up to the AV team, because this is the first of the 13 things. Here's something we're going to show you.
The moment you've all been waiting for, our grand reveal. Take a look at this year's Terror Tram. The one, the only.
Hey, credit where credit is due. The whole reason that we even knew about art back in the day was you guys. From the minute, the first movie came out, people were coming up to me in the park and saying, Art the Clown, Art the Clown, Art the Clown. Last year, we brought it to life as a house, right? And we brought it to life in the park in places you least expected. Like the retail store, sorry about that retail. Food establishment, sorry about that food. So we wanted art to be part of our event this year. But we wanted to make something new, something different, something you guys have never seen before. So we decided to have art take over Terror Tram. I don't even know if it was my idea. I can't even remember back that far. But as soon as it was mentioned, I was like, yes! Art should be on Terror Tram. This is great! And then I panicked. And it's what I now refer to in my career as the Exorcist panic. You guys know what I'm talking about? So I chased the rights for The Exorcist for like a decade, and when we finally got them, I was so psyched, and then I went, oh my God. It's a movie about an 11-year-old girl that never gets out of bed. But we figured it out. And I had that same panic with art. Why? Because we always start Terror Tram with a video that we create, right? That kind of introduces the story to y'all. And then a realization hit me. He doesn't talk. He never talks. Damien multiple times has reminded me that he never talks. So we had to get creative. So, all right, I don't know how many of you are as old as I am. Probably not that many. But when I was a kid, we used to have booking records. Do you guys remember what I'm talking about? It's still ingrained in my brain from childhood. I still remember like the G.I. Joe booking records that I had as a kid. Somewhere in the Egyptian desert, the adventure team vehicle rolls on. Old Mike frantically tries to contact Joe. I mean, I could recite that whole booking record. I won't, but I could. And what booking records always have, right? They always had that sound, that iconic sound. Every day is Artmas. An Art the Clown booking record. When you hear this sound, what kind of sound should we have for art? How about we make this an audience participation thing? Because I'm going to tell you the whole damn story, right? I'm going to take you through like the video and what we're doing with this. And every time I go like this, I want you to scream your head off as loud as you possibly can scream, okay? Can we do this? Let's try it. An Art the Clown booking record. When you hear this sound, turn the page. So it's time for a short story. So I think about this kind of like, I grew up with the Rankin and Bass Christmas specials, you know, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Santa Claus is coming to town. So I'm going to read the narration. It's not me. I'm not doing it for the actual video, but I'll substitute for us. And it starts like this. Art the Clown loves Christmas. Art the Clown loves Christmas a lot. See Art dressed in a Santa suit he stole from an old man at a bar. See Art wearing a Santa beard that he ripped off the old man's face. Art loves his Santa suit. Art loves his Santa beard. Because Art the Clown loves Christmas a lot. Art even brought a special Christmas present to give to the tour guide and all his friends on the Universal Choo-Choo Tram. But the silly tour guide tells Art, it's not Christmas yet. Art is too early. You're a little weak on that. Let's try that again. This makes Art sad. This makes Art mad. Because Art the Clown loves Christmas a lot. Art decides the tour guide and his friends on the choo-choo tram don't deserve his special Christmas present because they are naughty. Art will put them on his naughty list. Art will make his own Christmas. Art will make his own Christmas on the Universal backlot, the place where the choo-choo tram is going. And all Art's naughty friends on the Universal choo-choo tram will be sorry that they didn't let Art have his Christmas. They will be really sorry. See them run. See them scream. Because Art the Clown loves Christmas. Art the Clown loves Christmas a lot. All right. So, all of that artwork was done by our very own Lucas Colshaw. He does all our character illustrations. Give it up for Lucas Colshaw. So, when you get on the tram, the tour guide's going to warn you, like, hey, you guys hate how it... And let's just ask you guys this question. Do you hate how every year it seems like Christmas comes earlier and earlier? I mean, it's not even like Halloween and they're already stacking all of the Christmas decorations. They've moved out the Halloween stuff. You have to listen to All I Want Is for Christmas Is You like 24/7 on the radio. Well, there's one guy at Universal who loves Christmas so much that he wants every day to be Christmas. And then we reveal Art, and he's fully decked out in his Santa Claus suit. He's sitting at his table in his cozy little living room with his hot cocoa and his Christmas cookies, and he's bought this present, and he wants to give it to you guys. Except when he opens it up and he pulls it out, it's the freakiest doll you've ever seen in your entire life. And the tour guide has to break it to Art and say, Art, you know, I'm sorry, you're just too early for Christmas. And as the video says, this makes Art sad, this makes Art mad. He grabs his snow globe off the table and he shakes it furiously into the camera, and we do this beautiful snowflake dissolve into the storybook that I just took you through. And then when we come out of it, Art is just seething. He is pissed. And he's holding the baby doll, and he's gesturing to all of you, and he's doing the cutthroat gesture, and then he rips the head off the baby doll and drinks its blood. And when the tram pulls up, he's waiting for you. He's standing there in the middle of the road. He looks something like this. He's still got that baby doll head in his hand, but he's totally bummed, and he's just staring at you, giving you this signal. Behind Art is this Christmas house, and it's all decked out. Look at what I did there. You thought you knew what we were doing, didn't you? You all thought you knew. You're all on the internet. Oh my God, I can't believe it. And you're wrong. Party! Take that. lights are just kind of sadly sputtering away, and it's this really kind of sad, depressing scene. But then out of the portal comes two of Art's friends. Vicky Hayes and the little pale girl. And the little pale girl takes the severed head away from Art, and Vicky hands Art a brand new chainsaw. And now he's happy. He's jumping up and down, he's so excited, and then the music starts in. Do you know what that is? It's the Nutcracker scene. And that's what we're doing. We're applying all of these classic Christmas archetypes and putting them in the world of Art the Clown, okay? So these are our Nutcracker characters, our freaky ballerina, our Nutcracker, the Rat King, and they all come out with chainsaws, and now Art is thrilled, and all of a sudden the lights change and it all becomes Happy Christmas, and they fire up those saws, and they chase you to the next zone, which is Art's Christmas tree farm. Here's the portal for that. You thought you knew what you were doing. And you were wrong. But this is a full-service Christmas tree farm. It's not just the place you get your Christmas tree. They have a motto: we slice them, we chop them, we trim them, we top them. So Art, Vicky, little pale girl, they're cutting bodies open, they're ripping out the intestines to string the tree. Little pale girl's ripping heads off of people to use as the tree topper, and it all coalesces in an amazing Christmas tree display. With Art's little helpers helping them along the way. Oh, I missed the slide. Okay, I'll tell you what it is. You ever seen Christmas Vacation? You know when Chevy Chase, Clark Griswold, tries to plug in the tree? That's what's going to happen to Art. Okay, so the Bates Motel is being transformed into the 12 Sleighs of Christmas. And it's basically like a Christmas party, like a themed Christmas party where everybody dresses up, but it's being crashed by Art the Clown. So we're redecorating the whole Bates Motel. Every door alternates red, green. Vicky is doing some damage to this snow bunny that she stabbed multiple times with multiple different knives. She's taken this dude on the naughty list and cracked his head open like a walnut with a vice. And little pale girl has jammed an icicle into that poor elf dude's eyeball. And she's taken another one and shoved it through the girl's cheek. And then Sienna Shaw makes a cameo. So this is our snow angel version of Sienna. And she has a chainsaw showdown with Art the Clown, and that takes us to our next location, which is Art's Christmas Cafe. Food is a big part of Christmas every year, so we have our maitre d' Art and his two sous chefs that are preparing all the lovely food that you're going to be eating. And in the kitchen and helping work the restaurant, we have the Christmas ham and the Christmas turkey. One thing I noticed last year, we had all these arts all running around the park, and I know a lot of you guys wanted to get a picture, right? You wanted a picture with Art, but it was like the Pied Piper trying to keep up with him. He was just jetting all over the park. So we're going to do that for you this year. Our Hollywood sign, covered in blood. You can have the decision at that point in the experience, or you can get in line and get a picture with Art for your Christmas card, you know? That takes us up to the entrance to War of the Worlds, which is held for the holidays. This is going to be totally UV. This is some of the artwork we're creating. And this is where we bring in snowmen, although they're more like Clockwork Orange snowmen. Like this. And then we come into War of the Worlds proper. You know, that's the thing with Tram, right? This is what? My 21st year doing Horror Nights. 20 years, because you can't really count COVID. I mean, I count it, but you guys can't. And there was one year where we didn't have Tram, so I guess 19 years of Tram. Every year we sit down to design it. We always have to face this reality. Okay, there's a base motel, because it can't move, and there's a plane crash. So we had to figure out why there's a plane crash in this particular concept. So we thought, what if Art had like a World War II black guy, right? And what if little pale girl is like a spotter, and they're listening real carefully, and they hear, ho, 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 open up on Santa, right? And you hear, oh no! And then it's like, you know, a plane in World War II, yeah, big explosion. And then he's also taken out the Polar Express airline that delivers all the presents. He's taken them all out with his flak gun. And we're going to get into Christmas kills. So these are all the different people who live in the town, all being murdered in horrible ways. And then we're going to bring some other Christmas archetypes to life, like Jack Frost and the Snow Queen. And this is a new one. This is called the Christmas Death Angel. So basically we mashed up like the idea of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, like the ghost of Christmas future with like a Victorian angel. We have the grounded figures. We also have a still walker one as well. Then as we get closer to the end of War of the Worlds, we start encountering all these freaky toys that have escaped from Santa's workshop, like our wind-up monkey and our freaky-looking bear, still walking nutcracker. And at the very end of War of the Worlds, there's a big Christmas, chest overflowing with body parts. And Art has his naughty list, and he's checking to see if any of you are on your naughty list. And then once he does, from behind the big toy chest comes these freaky dolls, a male and female version. And then that finally leads us to Art's workshop, which on the outside looks just like Santa's workshop. So it's like, gingerbread house. But when you get inside, it looks like Art's workshop. And there's all these different departments, there's all these different doors, like dismemberment, decapitation, disembowelment, and that's what they're doing to poor Santa's corpse. Sorry, Santa. And that's Tram. But wait, there's more. How about special guests? All right, let's give an even louder welcome to Spencer Chalmers from Heimbach. Hey! What's up, Midsummer Scream?
So, it is a horror and a pleasure, John, and for this beautiful Midsummer Scream panel to announce that we, Ice Nine Kills, are creating completely original music for the 2026 Terror Tram starring Art the Clown. Turning all of your favorite Christmas jingles into the most violent, vicious, ink-filled death metal you've ever heard. Are you excited?
Now, for years, a lot of you guys in social media have been like reaching out and going, you should do something with Ice Nine Kills. You should, there's this guy, his name is Spencer Chalmers. I've known him for years, man. Actually, we're trying to figure this out backstage. Do you remember when we first met Spencer?
First met in person, I think
it was like a video.
It was a video call, yeah. And it's just such an honor to be up here with this guy. Give it up for this legend, Mr. Murdy. And I've always been enamored with Halloween Horror Nights, so to get to create something for you guys is incredible. And
So like last year, I was talking to Spencer when we were doing all the stuff with Art the Clown and the opening ceremony. And we're like, hey, can we use the song from Terrifier 3 to be part of our opening ceremony? So that was like the baby step, So this year when we started working on Terror Tram, I was like, I know you're on tour and everything, I don't know if you have time, but we're doing this cool thing starring Art the Clown, and it would be great to take like classic Christmas songs, right? Like ones you all know that you've grown up with, and give it the Ice Nine Kills twist.
We've been having some fun with those lyrics, my friend. I can't wait till you hear what we've done to songs like Joy of the World. It's going to be a block ride.
Do you remember the first time you ever came to Horror Nights?
First time I came in, it's been a wild ride. I remember loving Halloween, we did a Halloween 4 house.
Yeah.
And I actually was lucky enough to, I was working with Dread Central at the time.
Yeah.
And I got to interview people on the carpet and talk to Danielle Harris from Halloween 4, and Dwight Little, the director. And also, I remember I was on the carpet, and they told me that I was going to interview some people from Halloween and whatnot, and then some guy came up to me. He goes, oh, by the way, you're going to interview a Slash. I said, when? In about 15 seconds. So I had to get my shit together, and I think Slash liked me. I left a good impression, but for us to follow in, Slash's footsteps, I know he's done so many events for you guys and music, so it's an honor to be up there with Slash.
If you had to well, first of all, how many of you guys like Ice Nine Kills? If you had to I know we talked about this early on. I think a mutual friend, Louis Kovacs, introduced us. It was pretty early in your career. But if you had to describe to the people, what is Ice Nine Kills all about? What is the Ice Nine Kills brand? How do you see your place, particularly in horror?
Well, for me, Ice Nine Kills combines two of my favorite things in the world: heavy music, folk rock music, with horror. And it's to me, it's trying to find that perfect bridge between both, and they're so synonymous with one another. They're both counterculture. They're against the grain, and it's just stuff that I've worshipped since I was a little kid. In that theater watching Scream for the first time when I was 11 years old, and getting the goosebumps by hearing the killer talk about Michael Myers and talk about Jason Voorhees, and it's just always been in my blood, and now we're ready to shed some blood. Halloween Horror Nights, right?
Absolutely. Maybe one more question before. Hey, would you guys like to hear? Okay. Let me ask Spencer one more question. Was Halloween your favorite holiday when you were a kid?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you remember
more so than my birthday? Absolutely.
Do you remember what you dressed up as a kid for Halloween?
Pretty funny. I was about maybe 6 or 7 years old when I first saw Halloween, and I became obsessed with the character of Michael Myers. So I got the jumpsuit, I got the Michael Myers mask, I looked in the mirror and I was just I'm only 4 feet tall. So I remember, I was like, Mom, can I borrow your high heels? So I put electric tape around her high heels so it didn't look like, Michael Myers was wearing high heels, Michelle Myers. And I walked around the neighborhood almost every day in October.
Not on Halloween?
Yeah, not even on Halloween. Because I thought it would be scarier if you look out your window and it's October 2nd.
Yeah, that would be scarier, right?
But now in retrospect, I was probably only about 5 feet tall with the high heels, so I don't think anyone was very threatened. Yeah.
Aside from Terror Tram, is there anything you're particularly looking forward to this year for Halloween Horror Nights 2026? Woo!
Well, to me, Hellraiser has always lent itself to this incredible aesthetic. Clive Barker. I don't know what the hell's going on in that guy's head, but he's scary.
I do.
Yeah, we lived it.
Known him for a while.
Yeah. But, a guy like that, not only created Hellraiser, but also Candyman, of course, the legendary Tony Todd, for Tony Todd. So I can't wait to see what you're going to do with that property.
That one is one we've been waiting for a very long time. It's one of our White Whale properties. We're so excited to finally have the rights to do it, working with Clive, and I think it's going to blow everybody's mind.
I can't wait, man.
All right, AV team, let's go with you guys. Is it all right if you want to hear Joy to the World? Do you want to hear Joy to the World, or what Spencer and Ice Nine Kills has done to Joy to the World? You guys sent me this track and I was like, oh my God. I mean, Terror Tram is going to have the most intense, music score it's ever had in its entire history of existence. But if you're cool, ready? You guys want to hear it? Okay, let's do it.
Joy to the world, now more have come. The dead break down.
always like doing that kind of Cannibal Gordon style vocal pattern, and combining, you know, it's the juxtaposition of the, you know, the happiest time of year with death.
Yeah, it goes. They're doing a whole bunch of tracks for this. It isn't just one track. They're doing Christmas Tree,
Carol of the Bells.
Carol of the Bells, Nutcracker Suite, Dancing the Sugar Plum Fairies. I mean, it's a lot of music. So I wanted to personally, while I'm up on stage, thank Spencer. Thank you, John. For being part of this year's event. We're thrilled to have them. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you guys, and thank you guys for telling John and telling Halloween Horror Nights and Universal that you wanted us included, because we couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, what do we do now? Announce more? What? Announce something else? Just announce Terror Trend. What else can we possibly announce? By the pricking of my thumb, something wicked this way comes. Do you want another announcement? Let's go! Oh, that's not good enough. Come on! Time for a short history lesson. We've had a long legacy of doing Latin American content for Halloween Horror Nights. And again, credit where credit is due. I didn't grow up with these stories, you know. It wasn't part of my culture. But you guys came up to me unsolicited for years, saying, have you heard about La Llorona? Have you heard about El Cucuy? That really fired my imagination and the imagination of everybody that works on Halloween Horror Nights. So since 2010, with a couple of breaks, we've been really focusing every year on doing a special Latin American themed house. We just came off the Monstros trilogy, right? And I think I stood up on this stage last year and we're like, it's done, this is the end, this is the final act of the trilogy, and then the event opened. And it was this huge hit. But I made a promise, so it is done. I know. So we had to come up with something new, and I should mention and give credit to, there's a group of people at Universal Studios Hollywood. They're my colleagues that work on Horror Nights. They come from all different backgrounds. Some have a heritage in Mexico, others Latin America, like South America, Central America. They represent a wide spectrum. And I always meet with them before I do anything that's going to have Latin American content, because I took 2 years of Spanish in high school, and that was like 40-something years ago. So they're a huge help to me, not only with translation, but just to making sure that everything we do is authentic. So I did want to recognize those folks and say thank you for all of your help. Because we've got something new for you. Killceañera! Music by Slash! This is going to take some explaining.
Oh my
It's
God.
like I need a priest, because this thing just keeps advancing without me actually touching anything. But it's cool, leave it there. Because it's not often that I can go back and go, oh, I remember the exact moment of inspiration when an idea came to me. But I can with this. And it was a long time ago. It was 2018. I was hanging out with that dragon, up there on that balcony at City Walk. And I was just kind of standing there, lost in my thoughts. And down the street, I saw this procession. And it was this young girl in this amazing, elaborate dress. Kind of like a wedding dress, right? And then she had a whole group of girls with her that were all in dresses, kind of like bridesmaids. And there was a whole group of guys, and they were all in matching suits, kind of like groomsmen. And I was like, what the hell is that? So I started like Well, there's no way. I stopped them. I went down the escalator and I was like following them and trying to figure out what it was that they were doing. Because again, I did not grow up with Kissimmee. How many of you, well, let's start with this. How many of you have had a Kissimmee? Okay. How many of you have attended a Kissimmee? I've got the right horse. Good. How many of you have no idea what we're talking about and are completely lost? Oh, a couple. Okay. All right. Well, for you, that handful of people that are a little bit lost, it's time for a short cultural history lesson. And this is all part of the research that I did and talking to all of my different colleagues. But there are essential elements to a Kissimmee. In essence, what it is, and you guys keep me honest if you disagree with me, because, you know, these things, everybody has different opinions, but it's the celebration of a girl's 15th birthday, and it's pretty much the transition from childhood to adulthood, right? And it has lots of things that tend to be in common, although your Kissimmee might not have had this, so don't get angry if it didn't. But there's generally a court of honor, right? And that's the girls called damas, and the boys called chambelanas. Is my pronunciation okay on that? Is that all right? Oh, my Spanish teacher's gonna be so happy if she's still alive. Probably not. That's the court of honor. There's the gown, el vestido. It's the formal gown worn by the Kissimmee. There's usually a tiara and a scepter, and that represents her newfound responsibility. There's the la entrada, which is her grand entrance that she makes to the party. There's typically a candle display, 15 candles, one for every year of her life. There's something very unusual, doesn't exist in my culture or a lot of other cultures, but it does in the culture of quinceañeras, and that is the presentation of the last doll. And it's supposed to represent, this is the last doll you're ever going to receive because now you're transitioning from a child into a young woman. Along with that, there's another tradition, that is the changing of the shoes ceremony, changing usually out of flats into high heels, because again, you're transitioning from childhood to adulthood. Of course, there's food, music, dancing, there's a formal toast, and there's a cake cutting ceremony, and that's just some of the elements involved in a quinceañera. So I took all of that, and I went, okay, if I was making a horror movie, how would I take all of those elements, put it into the hot stew, stir it around, and see what comes out? So you guys always ask me, all the time on social media, can we see an example of a treatment? Okay, well, here you go. This is an example of a treatment. This is a treatment for Killceañera, and it's two main things. So on one side you see the description. That's the narrative that I write. So I write a narrative as if I'm you guys. It's written from the guest POV, as if I'm going through the scene. It's everything I see, everything I hear, everything I smell, sometimes. And on the other side, that's like a technical breakdown of elements. So you'll see talent, hand props, scenic, graphics, props and decor, static figures, audio, video, lighting, special effects notes. I'm trying to capture every single thing that's going to go into this scene so that our team knows what they're going to produce. And then all of that goes to my longtime partner, my art director, production designer. Give it up for Chris Williams! Chris takes that treatment and all of the visual research I've done, and then he draws his conceptual ground plan, and then Chris and his stable of production designers do all of the elevations for the sets. I showed you some of those elevations for Tram. By the way, those are all hand-drawn. Artists, my production designers that work in movies, film, television. They come and work for us every year for Horror Nights, and then once that's all done, then it goes to the computer. But everything's done by hand. But the first thing I do when I'm writing a treatment is I write kind of like the elevator pitch, as if it was a movie, and then I flesh that out into what I call an executive summary. So I'm going to actually read this to you to give you the setup for what this house is all about, and then I'm going to let you hear something. Would you like to hear something else? Okay. So the Fiesta de 15 Años, more popularly known as Quinceañera, is normally a time for 15-year-old girls to celebrate their rite of passage from childhood to adulthood. and all the people who made that journey special. But not for Lola. This troubled orphan with a dark and tragic past is planning a Kissimmee unlike any other, a festival of death designed to take revenge on all the people who have wronged her. The setting for this party to end all parties is the burned out ruins of Lola's childhood home, the place where her parents perished in a tragic fire during the height of the festival of Dia de los Muertos, November 2nd, which just so happens to be Lola's birthday. All of this happened 10 years ago. Lola miraculously survived the fire but was left with lifelong emotional and physical scars. Orphaned at an early age and badly disfigured by the fire, Lola became the object of ridicule for her classmates and an easy target for bullies who made her life an endless torment. Lola's only refuge were the stories her parents told her, tales of vengeful ghosts, malevolent spirits, and fearsome monstros that would punish the wicked. For Lola, these stories became an all-consuming obsession. For in the eyes of her cruel classmates, she was a hideous monster, and now that pitiless mirror would be reflected back on them. As her 15th birthday drew near, Lola began to plot a way to take her revenge. Since she had no parents, she would throw her own Kissimmee with her heartless classmates as her court of dishonor. The invited guests will be the ghosts, spirits, and monstros from her childhood stories, conjured by Lola to be the perfect vessels for her revenge. 15 candles, one for each of her victims. It'll be a Killceañera unlike any other, and no one will get out alive. This is the facade. So some of you guys have seen this going up in Parisian Courtyard. This is the burned out ruins of Lola's childhood home. And I know a lot of you guys have been looking at that, trying to peer over the construction fence. Put your phone over the construction fence to see what else you can get. And you've been talking a lot about that balcony up there. That is purpose-built. That is for Lola. Okay? So there is a character out in front of this facade, but she is elevated up above you. You're going to walk underneath her to get into the house. So we had to design what Lola was going to look like. This is some of the sketches that we did. We wanted to show the burn and all the damage from the burn, but because her birthday is November 2nd, the height of Dia de los Muertos, we also wanted to fold in like the calaveras, the candy skull kind of makeup, and then we put it together with the costume design. So she has this kind of fiery appearance, which involves UV. So we did a makeup test recently. We took this prosthetic makeup. This is done by our makeup artist, Patrick McGee Effects. And then he just did this makeup test just like the other day. So why am I doing her in a prosthetic? Because we do have ones of her in a mask as well. It's because I need her to lip sync. But most importantly, I need her to do a song. First time ever in the history of Halloween Horror Nights. Last year, I was at the event. I was hanging out. I was down by H-Lot. I was with my daughter, Izzy, the girl who I had her AI search herself the other day, and she was really mad because it came up. She is known by the nickname, the girl who cannot be scared. And she was like, "What did you tell them?" And I was like, "It's AI, honey. It just made it up. It wasn't me." But Izzy and I were at Horror Nights, and all of a sudden my phone beeped and it was Slash, and he was there with his son, so it was like, "Hey, let's hang out." So we were hanging out and going through the houses, and at the end of the night, I was walking into his car, and I went, and he just looked at me and he goes, "Next year." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, we're gonna have that conversation." And I said, "Hey, there's this thing I came up with in 2018, I've never done it, maybe this is the time to do it." kind of told him the basic idea. When I got back to Ireland, I sent him the treatment, and then just like a few weeks later, I got this beautiful piece of music from Slash on Spanish guitar, and then I kind of said, hey, here's an idea. What if we wrote a song? So I wrote the lyrics, the vocal melody. Stacy Quinolte in the house. Stacy Quinolte anywhere? Stacy, if you're here, raise your hand, stand up. No, not in the house. I gotta give credit to Stacy. Stacy's our producer, arranger, and co-writer. So all the music we've done with Slash over the years, Stacy has done it. I don't know if Danny's in the house. Danny, stand up! Okay, this dynamo. So we were trying to find the voice of Lola, right? And you know, and we were kind of getting frustrated. And then I think Stacy asked Danny. She had this whole background in theater and everything. So I'm going to play you, if it's cool with you, I'm going to play you the whole track. It's a little bit long, but you know, you'll be the first to hear it. Is that cool? So all of the voices you hear on this track are Danny. All of them. Give it up for her. All right. 15 candles. Here we go. All right. How many of you guys when you were kids, were you bullied? Anybody? You ever bullied? How many of you guys? Probably everybody in the horror community, right? Or else we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. The words are in Spanish. This is the point of it. A moment of suffering lasts forever, lasts a lifetime. So this house is for all the people who were ever bullied and wanted to take revenge. But wait! How long have you guys been asking me? When are you guys going to have a behind-the-scenes tour? First time ever, we're going to start in Hollywood. They've been doing this for years in Orlando, Florida, but we're going to start it in Hollywood because you asked for it. Unmasking the Horror is going to be available for the first time in Hollywood. It's going to be Killceañera and Sinners. Details to come. All right, now I got to kick it into overdrive because I'm already getting the person by the side of the stage giving me the, dude, you got to wrap it up, you got to wrap it up. We got a lot of stuff to go through, so hang on. You want to see some scare zones? Do we even have time for a shorter cultural history lesson? Sure we do. In Mexico in the 1920s and 30s, they had this thing called carpa shows, which were tent shows, kind of like sideshows that traveled from town to town. We thought that would make an interesting theme for the scare zone on French Street, which is El Circo de la Muerte. To tie into our carnival theme that we got going on this year, I'm going to run you through the characters real quick. Starts with the Ringmaster, the Dancing Bear, the Chicken Geek, the Fish Boy, the Rat Boy, the Bearded Lady, Two-Face, which is a still walker, and the Twins. And here's the whole lineup. So this is El Circo de la Muerte, which is going to be our scare zone on French Street. Let's talk about the chainsaws, all right? You guys know already that we announced Fort Nightmares earlier, which is New York Street, right? We kind of needed something to kind of visually blend in with that, just in case a bunch of chainsaws were running through that zone. So we came up with hackers. Let me walk you through the looks. And this, 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 and there we go. Last year we tried something new over by Studio Tour by the Rotunda. It seems well received. You guys seem to like that kind of unexpected scare zone, so we're going to do a new one. It's called Blood Bog. This is Pat Quinn. Pat has been with us since the beginning. Pat Quinn, he's the guy who does all our scare zones and park decor. Pat always finds weird stuff and then like shows it to us and goes, hey, I have an idea for a scare zone. So in this case, this is the concept art that they put together for this zone. You see that big creature, and if we hit the next one. So Pat bought that, and then created a whole character around it that we call the Spider Pirate. This zone has a lot of ghillie scares, but we wanted to kind of take ghillies a step further. So that's the looks for all our ghillie performers. There's actually more than this. But wait, there's more. We also have what I call HHN's character encounters or experiences. And these are just the places in the park where you don't expect to see anything, but something shows up. So, for example, Murder of Crows. The crows are back in town, so you're going to see your favorite crow characters that we've had like the last several years. Baby Crow will be back as well. We have some new looks for our grounded crow characters, created a whole new look for them. That's their look. And then just for fun, because there's the escalator, you know, and people are always taking pictures of that lay-down yard we have next to the Ozzy Osbourne house. And they're like, look at all that Egyptian statues. They're doing an Egyptian thing. No, we're not. We just took the Horus statue, put a beak on it, and painted it black. Instant crow. We also have Shriek of the Banshee, and this is to bring back a type of character that we did several years ago. We haven't done it recently, so four-legged still walker. This is kind of around the decision hub before the fast ride. That's the scope for that character. See this guy walking around today. Tommy Kuma will be back as well. In the Universal Plaza, which is Dia de los Muertos, this is the new look of our Stillwalker characters that are going to be in the plaza. And that's it. That's everything. There's nothing more. Or am I forgetting something? Or should we say someone? Last year, we did an experiment. I went to like our vice president of retail, and I was like, I know we never let characters in the store, but we're going to make an exception for this. Last year, we tried something where we had art in different parts of the park, and you never knew where it was going to turn up. From the reception I heard from you guys, it sounded like you liked it. So we're going to bring it back with a new twist. These are the looks of all the different arts. We're kind of going through the whole spectrum. And seriously, that's it. Really? What possibly more could I do for you? Okay. Again, credit where credit is due. Some fan, somebody on X, sent me a video of Curry talking about Halloween Horror Nights, right? And I was like, oh, that's interesting. He was just talking about how he's a big fan of Horror Nights and he comes every year. And I'd just seen Obsession, and Obsession's a great film. And it was late. I mean, we're talking like late in our process. But we rallied the troops. So I'm not going to give you all the details today. But what I can tell you is, Nikki is out there somewhere. You kind of got to get into like a Where's Waldo type mentality. She's out there somewhere. And she might be looking for her next obsession. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you guys so much for coming out here and hanging out with us. Thank you to Midsummer Scream, continues putting on an amazing show. And thank you guys for supporting Halloween Horror Nights. We do it for you. Thank you very much. your name? Wolf. Wolf? Oh. You've done it before. Where? Please, what? Please. Hang on.
I want to come back.
Okay. Wolf, you've done it before. What is the name of the device that grants wishes in the movie Obsession? There you go. Mario, hook him up. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it.
That is a wrap on the John Murdy panel.
What is the name of the device that grants wishes in the movie Obsession?